Wednesday, April 15th, tax day, except this year tax day isn't happening until July 15th. So for those of you who have to pay, count your blessings right now. Welcome to the show. I have Carlos Ponce, who's joining me from Mexico City, my co-host and co-producer, and also Travis Huff.
Boom!
Welcome to the show, Travis. I'm in Los Angeles. Travis is in Fresno. So we got California representing today right here on the show. Welcome. Travis, please introduce yourself to those who may not know you. Tell us a little bit about your background and who you are.
Absolutely. My name is Travis Huff. I'm out in Fresno, California, born and raised, entrepreneur. Always kind of had that at my heart, from lemonade stands, selling things out of the house, now running a social media agency. But my evolution is crazy. I at some point didn't know what I was going to want to do after high school, because I was kind of one of those kids that just enjoyed the life and did sports and all those fun things. And then when I got to college, I really got focused on, I wanted to do advertising and marketing. And I really wrapped my head around not only broadcast advertising and getting the opportunity to sell for ABC television and work with a Disney company for 4.5 years, but then getting into digital. And so it really gave me an experience. Guys, I also have my own podcast, The Be Real Show, where I'm actually interviewing my heroes and social media entrepreneurs and even people that just come on the show as a guest, that I learned so much from each guest. But it's just a pleasure. And I'm so grateful, guys, to be here today, first off.
Well, Travis, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Love the background, love the energy. Tell us a bit about what you're doing now, your company now, what you're doing.
Absolutely. So I started my business, folks, in 2009. So a recession similar to what we're going through right now, even it's obviously maybe worse because there's a health part now, folks. But truthfully, it was literally, I was sitting at a Starbucks after working at ABC television for 4.5 years. And my buddy said, hey, you know what? People are going to need their Facebook pages managed. And so I just ran with it, folks. I took the idea and I said, you know what? Put a PowerPoint together and start talking to customers about helping them manage their Facebook pages, which is what it was. And still today, folks, after 11 years in business, we are still getting Facebook page requests as still one of our top services to offer. So we're a social media agency. We manage, anything on social, a lot with agencies though, folks. And that's really our biggest focus is with our white label, which is where you resell our services and where we partner up and you get to work with the clients on the front end and we do all the back end work on your social as far as scaling your agencies. And so that has been our real bread and butter and what we love to do. And so it's guys, it's the hard business. I'll be straight up with you, but it's one of the businesses I love. So nowadays you have to just be happy about having work, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing these days.
Yeah, I definitely want to ask some questions about the evolution of that, because things have changed dramatically over the past 11 years. But before we do that, I want to give Carlos an opportunity to introduce the show today and introduce the topic you've chosen. And let's go right into it. I'll save that question for a little later, but I'm very curious to learn about the evolution and what's changed and what's going on. Carlos, what's the topic for today, please?
Absolutely, Tulio. Thank you so much. And thanks, Travis, for joining us today right here on Dojo Live. Today, correct me if I'm wrong, Travis, but I believe we're going to be speaking about social and reputation during pandemic times.
Yes.
In other words, right? So you're going to talk to us about the strategies that will work during these times on social media, and I'll be using your network to survive. So I'm pretty personally keen to what you have to say about this. So tell us, maybe the question is even not necessary, but still, why did you choose this particular topic, and why did you think it was relevant for these days?
Well, personally, because you guys are a live show, I know this is going to be happening right now. And so that's the most important thing. I think this is what is in the heart of every business in the world right now. No matter what kind of business you're at, some businesses like the movie theaters have gone down to almost zero revenue. And so the strategies and things you're going to need to do right now, folks, are basically, I would say first is tell your story. Why are you in business? Connect to the emotions behind it. There's so much behind your story. Why are you waking up every day? What are you worried about? Who do you want to help? Especially on social right now, because you can go live, you can do posts, obviously, as we all know. But I think the biggest thing to focus on right now is telling part of your story. Why are you in business? Why do you keep doing this? Why do you want to help customers during these times? And then in some businesses, you maybe need to tell your past history because you're not in business right now. So you need to tell why you love serving customers and why you can't wait to see your regulars at the bar or, at the restaurant where you see these people. And that's the thing I think you need to talk about first right now is your story.
So I like that. So instead of, if you're a chain, for example, a restaurant chain, which might be closed, might be still serving people who do takeout, but
Right.
you're saying maintain the emotional connection to your brand. You know, remind people why they came in there to begin with and why they would want to come back when things do go back to normal. So what are some effective ways to do that today? Because things were different 11 years ago, right? You didn't have all these algorithms that a lot of the social networks have, and you weren't trying to edge those algorithms. I mean, there's so much complication now to actually effectively reach audiences.
Right.
What's a really effective? But one thing I hear all the time is the more genuine you are, the more you provide heartfelt, emotionally connected messages to consumers and alike, the more response you're going to get. Tell us a bit about what's working, what's not working,
Absolutely.
tips that you want to share.
So the three things and three categories, folks, that if you start doing today on your Facebook page or on any of your social networks will work right now. First is funny. Actually, before the show here, we kind of started talking about funny memes and things we're sharing. Funny always works. And actually, funny memes always work, especially on Facebook. And we've proven this time and time again against beating the algorithms and getting more reach. And during these times, people want to be funny, guys. As you know, we want to be a little lighthearted. We're watching social, and these are the kind of things that stand out. Now, there's a point where you don't want to have language discrepancies and things like that, but you can still be really funny. So there's a lot of interesting coronavirus memes right now around your industry, whether you're in restaurants or whatever, and just be like, you can make it a funny Saturday, funny Sundays. Those always work. The second category of content that always works is emotions. We talked about telling the story or motivating. So finding motivational quotes. Right now, we've been finding a lot of quotes that work is like, we're in this together. So just type in together quotes or type in community quotes or type in whatever you like around, you know, we're all in this really fighting this thing together. And so if you post that kind of content at least once a week on a motivational Monday or on Fridays, it really works, folks. So those two for sure are going to get you more shares and engagement than you have in the last months on your social. If you haven't done these things on your social, I guarantee they'll work. I guarantee it. It's a layup, especially on Facebook. The last thing that we've seen right now that works so well, folks, is giving. So contests, gift cards, give things. If you're going to be, surviving right now, you need to be giving everything you have. So coming up with different kinds of giving contests, whether that's timeline engagement contests, where you're asking people to engage with the posts and you're giving away $100 in gift cards. We've been seeing this work so well with restaurants right now that are doing takeout and delivery. You can feature what the products you want to offer. So you can give away, say we're doing like a family takeout for Easter. You can give away 4 family takeouts for Easter, and you're really actually just advertising that you have that available. So other people will, that post will get shared and gets a lot of engagement on because people want to win. Now it's actually just advertising that service that you offer. And that's why businesses are able to get bigger checks at this point, as doing these more family services and things like that, not just selling individual, trays, not just selling restaurants. You're selling whole trays of food, basically. And trying to make more money. Bottom line, right now they're trying to survive. You got to take every dollar you can get.
All right, so let's see if I heard this right. Number 1, use some humor. Right?
Oh yeah.
Number 2, be genuine, connect with something emotionally, remind customers why they're doing business with you, so connect them to the emotions. And number 3, do giveaways. Connect with customers by doing giveaways, continue to keep them engaged, even though perhaps you're not open or you don't have anything specific you can offer. And then where appropriate, increase the volume of what you're selling so you can get more bulk orders.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a great advice if you're a B2C. By the way, I started thinking as you were saying, like that's probably why TikTok is done so well, because it's full of a lot of humor, right? So
absolutely.
That's the trending thing. If you want to laugh a little bit, that's where you go, right?
Oh my God.
And so there's a lot of businesses on there and consultants on there who use the same humor. I mean, the content that I would post on LinkedIn is not the same as I would post on TikTok. The TikTok content has a lighter, softer, funner side.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing is maybe adopt some of that everywhere else. So
even on LinkedIn. TikTok, even on LinkedIn. Yeah, even on LinkedIn, I think it's just who you are. I mean, at the end of the day, just be you. But I think people are wanting to connect to the humorous side of yourself, the emotional side of yourself, the motivational side of yourself, and the giving side of yourself. The giving nature of you as a business owner, you as a person. I think people want to connect to all those things, and so any way you can do that with your content or just in general as a human, whether it's through your friends or whether it's through email, I think that's what people want to see these days. We're not thinking of ourselves these days as much as we're thinking for others, and we're thinking we need to work together. And if you have a team, you want to keep them on board as much as you can, even though you want to keep your business surviving. So businesses are having to take, pay cuts, and team are working right now. So it's amazing when you keep that aspect to it, that it just wins on social, especially.
So let's shift a little bit. That's great advice for
Yes,
business to consumer companies, right? If you're a business to business company,
yeah.
I can share what has resonated with me. I've seen posts from chairmen and CEO of large companies saying we are guaranteeing none of our employees are going to get laid off in 2020.
Yes.
That to me creates a sense of loyalty, not just for the employees, but as a customer. I want to do business with a company like that. I really appreciate that they're going out of their way to take care of their people. I recently heard Microsoft is giving employees who have children at home 12 weeks fully paid to take care of their children, so they don't have to stress over. I mean, I have a family member who works for Microsoft. So these are,
that's amazing.
Not every company is sharing this kind of thing publicly. Any advice for B2B companies on how they can improve their reputation during this challenging times, or establish a reputation during these challenging times,
yes.
or in some cases have to manage through difficult changes that could hurt their reputation? Any advice for those companies?
Yeah, I think now is the time more than ever, folks, to go and talk to your customers. Figure out where you're at with them. Figure out where you're also at with your past customers. Ask for reviews. Look at trying to get more Google reviews, more Facebook recommendations, more LinkedIn recommendations. Content-wise, do what you guys are doing. Do what I have done with our podcast. Create a podcast, folks, where it's really focused on your industry, whether you're selling insurance, whether you're selling in the back here, we got autographs, if you're selling an autograph business or whatever. You can really get focused on that industry and niche and bring on people that are in that industry, bring on interesting guests. And that's another way to build your business right now. The other thing we already talked about, you mentioned it, is talk about everything you've ever done for the community and then start doing more. That's it. I mean, I saw recently furniture stores, giving out free masks at their store. They're not even in business right now, but they're just giving out free masks. Now it's a way of advertising, but folks, think about that. They're just giving. So I think right now that should be the foundational part. And if you're trying to survive, then at the end of the day, that's a wholly different thing. So you're trying to get the payroll loans, you're trying to cut expenses, you're trying to do things that are strategic. And that's another big thing into business right now, is we're finding that how many businesses, even if they're big, aren't really a sound business. They don't have the cash in the coffers, and they aren't able to handle something like this. And so I think that's an interesting part of and we don't know what's going to happen there. It's very interesting. And every day you just have to be really grateful. I think today, folks, is stay in the moment, stay in the day.
It's interesting. I think, Carlos, I think you posted this on Slack last week. There was some internal chat we were having about this is the time when the businesses that were just barely holding on quickly fail, and those businesses that were doing well will come out thriving on the other side because they can double down and take advantage. You have any questions for Travis around that thinking there? How do you manage through that? Those companies that are struggling, that may not make it through, what can they do? Perhaps I guess I'm asking the question, but I'm going to put it back to you, Carlos. What can companies do that are in that situation? How do you manage through that? What suggestions do you have so that, perhaps if they do come back, or they come back in some other reincarnation, those customers are not, they don't have a bad taste in their mouths? What are your thoughts on that? Companies that are. Go ahead, Carlos.
I'm sorry. Was that a question for Travis?
I think
it was for Travis. It was for Travis. I wanted to have you ask the question, but I ended up asking the question. Go ahead, Carlos.
No, well, I think the only thing left for me to do would be to elaborate a little bit on that. And well, you got it right. But my question for Travis, based on your experience, would be more along the lines of what I asked on our internal channel on Slack the other day. I mentioned that I brought something up, something that I read somewhere, which is about failing companies are going to fail, and then great companies are going to remain in business and even thrive. Now, considering that as the context, Travis, what would you say that makes up a great company nowadays in terms of the challenges that lay ahead? What is a great company from your standpoint?
Yes. Well, I always wondered why Warren Buffett had so much cash. And so let's just put it this way, folks. Having cash in the bank right now is everything. I mean, look at Apple, look at Facebook, look at some of these companies have huge cash loads. And we're going to find out because Facebook's ad business is going down. We're seeing that. The Google ad business is going down. We're seeing that. These companies that are well capitalized have working capital. I think right now to survive, guys, you need to go literally to your bank statements. And you need to look at all the software, all the tools you use, all your expenses, and anything you can cut today, I say you cut it. Basically, if you're trying to survive, you need to basically cut all your expenses outside of just your core team. Can you work from home, guys? Can you cut out your rent? I heard recently a fintech company said they're going to not go back to work. They're going to let their leases go because it's going to save them $10 million a year. That means $10 million in profit for their team to work at home. They're finding it's the same productivity. They're not having loss of productivity. In fact, people will love it more because they don't have to be at work and they could be at their pajamas working if they wanted to, which some people like. I mean, that's the truth.
Right.
They still work in their pajamas, folks. It's crazy. So it's very interesting. You might find more profit just not paying less expenses. You might find that these businesses are more profitable by literally going into your bank statement, clearing out. Do I need this, and this? Oh, I don't need this. I'm not using this. I'm not using this. This is an extra $500 tool I don't need. You might have thousands of dollars just in money you're spending and you didn't realize it, you know? And so I think that's another thing that businesses got to do right now, because how you have to be a great business is you have to have money. That's the bottom line. I mean, you have to have money coming in, or you got to have it sitting in somewhere like Warren Buffett does, $130-40 billion. You got to have it somewhere. You can't that makes the greatest business, because during times like these, you can come in and buy and help out and loan and get warrants and do all these things that the greatest investors do. And you can nowadays, at the end of the day, for a business, you just want to survive. So this is a lesson that if you haven't had working capital in your business, you got to take it seriously. You know, I'm reading the book. I've been listening to Tillman Fertitta. You know, he owns all these huge restaurant chains, and he's probably taking a huge one on the chin right now. But his book is Shut Up and Listen, and he's always talked about having working capital. And so I imagine great business owners like that own the Rockets and they own hundreds of franchises of business chains, restaurant chains that are getting slammed right now, are still you know, they got the capital to survive. You know, they're not going to go away. And some of these businesses might go away. That's the truth.
Yeah, some of them will, and
will.
I think also the way people work will probably change too. I was reading an article, I don't remember exactly where it was, like what's going on in New York City, right? The draw of living there is the proximity to businesses, but all these businesses that are in the service space with employees working from home, it's like, what do I need to be in a big building for? I can work from home. I can leave a big city and go live somewhere else, get a lot more for my money. I think the way we live is going to dramatically change as well. It's almost as if, you know, the online industry, the internet disrupted retail big time, right? Everybody's moved online, but nothing has truly disrupted the traditional working model of going to an office, except right now. We are being disrupted. A virus is disrupting that model. And what's being proven by a lot of people is, wow, we're actually a lot more productive not needing to go and spend 2 hours commuting to the office every day, you know, fighting through traffic or sitting in a tightly knit subway train like a sardine. So, you know, that's going to change. And is that going to create opportunities for how companies need to change even the way they market themselves? What are you thinking in terms of how that's going to impact the way companies market themselves?
I think they're going to find out they got more money, because if they cut their commercial leases, they got a lot more money to run this business in cash than they realized, first off. Then I think right now what you need to do, folks, is look at this as a golden opportunity. If you do have any cash in the bank, Google prices and Facebook ad prices and acquisition prices are cheaper than ever right now, because basically a lot of people have cut their ad budgets, so they got inventory. So now is the time to capitalize too on services. And even this is the other thing I would say, guys, is if you're not making money or you aren't open in business, start something else that's essential. I've seen jewelry companies selling toilet paper. I've seen furniture companies selling masks. I mean, let's just be real. That's what people care about and what's selling right now. So evolve even some of your products, if you're one of these businesses right now, to the things that people care about. Because I'm the big trend right now, as you guys are seeing probably too, is grocery has been impacted. So what is happening? Restaurants are selling groceries. Panera has a whole grocery division now where they're selling eggs and milk and shit that basically was sitting in wholesale, warehouses. And now it's coming to make, you pick your breakfast sandwich and you get some eggs. You get a whole thing of eggs so you can make eggs later. I mean, it's a convenient thing, and that's going to disrupt business. Are they going to go backwards? Maybe they just keep selling eggs, And so you might find that you got to start being innovative to the things you sell right now, I think. And then most importantly is cut out all the unnecessary expenses right now. Outside of your team, outside of the people you love and the people that do great job, obviously if there's people not doing a great job, they need to get the exit sign at this point. I mean, there's one of those things like, there's a certain time, this is a good time to exit the people that aren't working, but all the team, you want to keep them there. They're your team, that you love them. But any other tools and gadgets and things you just are doing in the business and you're not really utilizing, cut it. Because I think that's the truth is you'll find you're actually more profitable. And I'll tell you what I think is going to hit the huge trend, guys, is commercial real estate. Because I think a lot of these companies are going to say, sorry, folks, we're going online. We don't need to have this $10 million lease in these different locations. We're going on Zoom. Hey, you know what? It costs me $100 a month to run my business on Zoom. I've been using Zoom personally, guys, for the last, since they've been in business, really. And that's how we started our business from the beginning, was in basically not working from a big office. And it actually found that it actually brought way more productivity to our team. And so we stuck to that model. When we first started our business, we were going to go get an office space. And then we were like, do people want to? And they're like, no. And it's never changed. I mean, it's been better than ever. We have 27 contractors on our team that they love it because they have the flexibility of when they work, where they work, who they work, where they work, who they're working with, their families right there. Their kids are right there. They're saving babysitting costs. I mean, babysitters are expensive. If you do the math, I mean, shit, you're working to pay the babysitter. So if you can save that cost, you can work. You don't have to travel. You don't have to use your gas. I mean, you're talking about getting thousands of dollars back into your time and your life. And so I think that's what people are realizing, like you mentioned right now, is they're realizing, holy moly, I don't have to have the commutes, and I still can stay connected, And so there's gonna be a lot of businesses that can't go to Zoom and do online stuff, but there'll be a lot that do. There'll be a lot that use Slack and Workday and use all these companies, I think.
Travis, I got a question for you.
Sure.
I'm going to go back to the original topic. I mean, the name for the conversation. And
yes.
you mentioned specifically reputation in these days. So why is reputation important in order to either generate or retain business?
I think going forward, everyone's going to continue to look at reviews. Reviews are such an important business. When we started our business, it was social media, and then we got into reputation because the reputation we realized is vital. I mean, reviews cost you $1,000 to remove a negative review if you try to go do it through some of these companies. So just think of what the value is of that review for a positive. I mean, when someone's making a decision to buy a $30,000 pool and they see positive reviews, they're going to be validated to want to do business with you immediately. And so reviews nowadays, I think, are going to be even more vital because I think people are going to be a little more cautious with their cash. I think businesses are going to be more cautious with their cash for sure. I know I am. I know me as a consumer, I'm going to be more cautious with my cash, which I already am. But the point is, I'm going to get more cautious and I'm going to do more research, I think, especially for those high ticket, high items. But now a better time than ever to talk to your customers. Say, how are you doing? How are you guys making through this? I mean, I found that right now, that is the best message to talk to anyone about right now. Don't talk to them about selling a product or any of this stuff. Hey, you know what, man? I just want to know how you're doing. Are you getting through this right now? Like, that's all you got to say. And it literally will connect to people better than anything you can do right now, folks, if you're in sales. Because they're going to say, hey, you know what? I'm having a lot of challenges. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. We're doing all right, Trav. We're doing all right, man. Thanks for thinking of me. It's a lot better messaging than anything you could do right now is just be kind and know that we're all kind of stuck in our houses and not wanting to go have sushi, like you said, and wanting to go do things. My wife's like, why can't we travel? I'm like, we were supposed to be in Hawaii a week ago. We had to cancel, obviously. And it's just life, And so you have to just kind of say, now's the time to basically say, hey, you know what? If you want to sell something to anybody, just get to know where they're at. See where they're at.
Yeah, this strategy, everybody's sending messages on LinkedIn or companies I haven't heard of in years, sending newsletters. It's like, I didn't even sign up for this. Stop spraying and praying. This doesn't work. It just makes people more upset.
Oh, yeah. I saw someone said this recently, and it's so true. They said COVID-19 has actually boosted the benefit of my email now, because I now basically unsubscribed to all these emails that I never even knew existed, and now they're all sending me these messages. So I'm unsubscribing.
Right.
Now it's getting more clean. Now I'm getting more emails that I want. So it's interesting. Like
Exactly.
you said.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
I think just to finalize my take here in this, I'd like to know what you think of this, Travis. I keep getting myself. I keep getting a lot of messages and a lot of from people that I had already forgotten that they existed. So I keep getting all these messages, and now some of them even look or appear phony, like false. So do you think that this COVID situation and everything that's going on out there is going to boost the phoniness in a lot of people, or how can we deal with that? I mean, how can we come across as well-meaning and honest and reliable? I don't know how else to put it.
Well, I would say never put a link in any of your emails, folks. I mean, that's the truth. Is you don't need to be sending me a spam or nothing like that, because as we know, anything that kind of has links and looks like that, it's probably a template or some tool. And at the end of the day, the biggest thing we're all going to have to combat right now is there's going to be a lot of scammers, people in pain right now financially. So they're willing to compromise your credit. Me and my wife had this happen to us in 2019 early. People do some crazy shit with their identity when they can get it. And so thank God we had LifeLock, to be honest with you, not a plug to them, but thank God we had it because it was legit. I mean, it's unbelievable. So now I think in the next, because we really aren't seeing the whole pain, everyone's got to be careful. Don't click links on your emails. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's from your friends, don't click links before you've vet it out and be like, why are you sending me this link? Unless you know it's for sure, like, I'm getting you guys' link to go to this thing. Unless you know it's for sure, like, something that it's already pre-talked about. Hey, I'm going to be sending you this link. Don't be clicking on those things. I think that's the number one strategy I could ever give anyone, especially with their, social security, cybersecurity. I've gotten so many Facebook messages with weird links and weird videos right now of these kind of weird things. And if you click it, you just don't know where it's going to take you. You know what I mean? And so, a lot of these phones and browsers are somewhat learning to have these sandboxes and learning to be like safe environments, but still, you just never know. And so,
well, I guess that talks to what you said earlier. I mean, the more reason to have a good reputation and reviews, because as a consumer, that's the only way you can validate what's legit. And even there's still some fraudsters who would do that too. But there's ways to get around that too. You just be smart. We're coming up on time, Travis. It always happens when we're having a good time. Couple of tips you'd like to share, maybe 1 or 2, 3 tips of something that companies could do right now. In the next week to, number 1, improve their reputation. Number 2, improve their connection with customers. Any final words of advice or wisdom?
Absolutely, folks. Sell gift cards, sell your services in advance, give great deals, sell things at 50% of what you would normally sell it. If it's a $100 service, sell it for $50. Give gift cards at big values right now to stay in business and keep the cash. If you sell annual subscriptions, go back to customers and tell them you're willing to, give your whole services for an annual for a way better price to keep the cash. I know software services are doing that to kind of stay in business. I would say go live on social media. Take advantage of that feature, especially on Facebook. It's a great feature. Live is amazing. There's something about it. It's not only about the numbers, but then the episodes last later, folks. So it's not only that. And then the last thing is reach out to people and get reviews. You got to go ask. You can't just expect people are going to go review you. You have to ask. You have to email them. The biggest thing is, I would say this, reach out to 5 of your fans every day and ask for a review. I mean, that's a doable strategy. It's not something that's going to take you forever. It takes you maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and be genuine. Say, hey, you know what? I really appreciate I really appreciate your business, blah, blah, blah. That's actually talking to them. And then put the link in or put the Google, reviews. But do not, at this point, folks, I would say stay away from putting links in anything until they've responded back to you. Start the conversation, say by, hey, how are you doing? Hope all is well. Say, you know what? I just really appreciate your business. And right now our reviews are so important. Would you mind giving us a review? Here's the link. Because then that people kind of have vetted that conversation. And last thing I would say is this. TikTok is a great place, folks. Take advantage of TikTok. Be fun, have fun. It's organic reach. There's nothing to lose by putting out content. It's free reach out there. And lastly, I would say this. Ads are amazing right now. There's ads are on sale. Digital ads are on sale right now everywhere. So take advantage of that. I think they'll continue to be on sale for the next coming years.
Well, Travis, great to have you. Thanks for joining us. This is going to make a really fun recap show for Monday. We've got a lot of great tips to cover, So for those of you watching or maybe caught the tail end of this, you could watch it anytime again or join us on Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific. We will do the recap of this show and highlight the highlights. Carlos, what's coming up next week? Who do we have as a guest? Travis, thanks for joining us again today.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, man. I
Absolutely.
appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Let me tell you who we're having next week. We're going to be speaking with Sam Enriquez. He's one of the principals of Commerce Direct, which is an marketing automation platform. So let's see what he has to say for himself and his company. I don't have the topic yet, folks, because the guest hasn't sent it over to me. But again, it's going to be Commerce Direct. That's the name of the company. And especially nowadays that e-commerce is kind of booming also for obvious reasons. So I look forward to this conversation with Sam Enriquez next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Tuesday.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you. Thank you, Travis. Thank you.
God bless you guys. God bless you guys. What you guys are doing. Love you guys out there. Boom. Let's go.
Thank you.